How many tons of plastic enter the ocean every year? Attendees, we would love to hear from you all what you think. How many tons of plastic enter the ocean every year? I'll add it to the chat. Too many tons.
Too many.
Too many. Yeah. Anybody other guesses? Whoa. We got 100,000, 10,000, 50, 5. Nice. These are all, I love the wide range of guesses. Somebody's bound to be close. 84,000. 300 million tons. I could believe that. All right. Shall we reveal the answer and pass it on over to Aimee Isaac, the author of The Planet We Call Home? Woo.
All right, thank you. So I will really reveal the answer, and it is 8.8 million tons of plastic. Can you believe that? So I'll talk more about that in just a minute, but thank you so much, Claire, for having me. I'm so excited to share my book, The Planet We Call Home. It's a lyrical and loving ode to planet Earth and the ways in which its features are connected to each other and to us. It's written in the cumulative style of This is the House That Jack Built, and beautifully illustrated by the talented Jamie Kim. So we start in outer space and zoom into this bird's eye view of Earth. This is our Earth, the planet we call home. And starting in the mountains, we follow water as it travels to the ocean and see all of the places that are connected along the way. And throughout, Jamie has illustrated children and families enjoying the environment. See them here again. And at the end, cleaning up the beach. Oops, let me get to that page. Cleaning up the beach, fishing, and eventually speaking in the town. Because this place that we love, our home, we have to take care of it, right? At the end of the book, there's a section on preventing pollution, because that was actually a big inspiration for my writing of the story. And then some links for further reading where I got that trivia question. So again, the answer is 8.8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean each year, threatening over 700 million species of marine animals. And when I heard the story of the sea turtle with the straw in its nose, I wondered where on earth that straw could have been dropped and traveled to the ocean. And I wanted to highlight how pollutants could travel within the larger watershed because of the way our planet is interconnected. And so what I hope we've done with the book is highlight that interconnectedness to inspire kids. And even though pollution isn't front and center in the book, inspire kids to love our planet and see that small actions can add up to make a difference, like cleaning up trash and spreading that message of caring for our home. So I hope everyone will check it out. That's a quick introduction to my book, The Planet We Call Home. And I think next we are going to hear from Roxanne Troup about her sweet book about a grandfather's love and a special tree.
Excellent. And we're going to take another quick minute here to announce a special prize winner of The Planet We Call Home. So drum roll, please, everybody. Little hand wave, maybe. Okay, our first winner is, pulling up my little, oh, sorry, big drum roll. We have got, oh, okay. Sorry, I lost the name. We have Glaucy Nakamura. Is Glaucy here?
Mi amiga, my friend.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You have a wonderful copy of The Planet We Call Home.
Yay.
And big shout out to our authors and illustrators who purchased these books for you all. So thank you to our artists. All right. Okay, so as Aimee mentioned, we are now going to pass it over to Roxanne. But first, a quick question. The pecan industry, or pecan, depending on where you hail from, wouldn't exist if not for the ingenious idea of a former slave. How many varieties of pecans now exist thanks to this man?
And that's my cue.
47. We got a couple guesses in there, but yes, passing it over to Roxanne.
Oh, you guys are way low. Think higher, higher, much, much higher. I'm seeing 47, 20, 74. There are actually over 1,000 different varieties of pecans. Of course, not all of them are used commercially. But tying back into Aimee's book, The Planet We Call Home, I've read that beautiful book, and I love how the repetition encourages young readers to join in the reading experience. My Grandpa, My Tree, and Me also features a refrain that helps kids read along with the story. It's told through the relational lens of a grandfather and child, and this lyrical intergenerational story is a look at the life and harvest cycle of pecans. It progresses through each season of the year. Am I showing that well? And compares the commercial pecan industry to growing pecans in your own backyard. It can be used in the classroom as a STEM or a social studies title because it highlights concepts like where our food comes from and the history of the pecan industry, but it's mostly about family. I hope readers come away with this sense that no matter how our families change, the love that we have for one another never runs out. It only grows. And like an orchard, there is always room for one more. When I was researching this topic, I actually discovered a video of a farmer harvesting pecans by tractor. And it was literally awesome. Like, I was completely thunderstruck. Pecans and twigs and leaves. Let me see if I can find the page in this book. Actually fell to the ground like rain. Since I grew up in a farming community, I have some experience with agriculture and mechanized harvesting. My grandfather actually grew corn and beans and milo, and my husband's family grows wheat, but nobody I knew harvested pecans by tractor. We gathered them in buckets, like the wild products they were, much like the little girl and her grandfather harvest pecans in this book. I knew kids would be fascinated with that tractor scene, but the dichotomy of the two methods is what actually inspired the structure for this story. So I hope you guys enjoy reading My Grandpa, My Tree, and Me.
Thank you, Roxanne. Wonderful. Okay, and now to announce our next prize winner, a fresh copy of My Grandpa, My Tree, and Me. Our winner is, drumroll, Sarah Chauncey. Do we have Sarah here? Woo! Well, Sarah Chauncey, congratulations. Okay, and so that is our second winner, and we are going to now ask another question of our wonderful audience. So everybody get your thinking caps right back on. So this one is for the first book by Laurie Ann Thompson, You Are a Honeybee. And so this question is, where does beeswax come from? Something I think we've all wondered often. Okay, their scales. All right, the bees make it. Bees? None of your bees wax. Good one.
Very good.
All right, and I'm just going to pass it right over to you, Laurie Ann.
All right. Well, I don't think anyone got it completely right. It looks like Lori Mortensen is the closest. Oh, there's some getting it right towards the end there. Yeah, so beeswax actually comes from glands that are underneath the segments of the bees' bodies, and they pull out the wax scales to build with. It's really sort of akin to our sweat glands or our earwax. So think about that the next time you're putting it on your lips as lip balm or something like that. So this is You Are a Honeybee. It's the first book in the new Meet Your World series. And the first thing you might notice is it might seem a little bit unusual to have a nonfiction book written in the second person point of view, since you, the reader, are obviously not a honeybee. But I still consider these to be nonfiction because aside from that little bit of artistic license, everything else in these books is a completely thoroughly researched and 100% factual. And some of those facts might even surprise you, like that trivia question. The reason for this unusual point of view choice is to try to give young readers a chance to really imagine what it's like to be a honeybee, rather than just learning a bunch of facts about the life cycle of a honeybee. I'll give you an example. You are a honeybee. When the new day begins, you wake up alone in a cramped, dark cell. Chomp, wiggle, stretch. Ah, that's better. You have a big family with more coming soon. You have just arrived, but it's time to work. For days you chew and pull, lift and carry. Everything is ready just in time. Look, here comes the queen. This shift in perspective, I think, makes the educational experience so much more fun for everyone. My hope is that the adults reading it will have just as much fun as the kids listening. And I know that I do every time I get to share it with an audience. So that is You Are a Honeybee. Thank you for listening.
All right, wonderful. And Laurie Ann is going to stay right on with us, and we're going to ask another question of our audience. And there goes my timer. So that was perfect timing. Good job.
I made it.
So our next question, why do raccoons dunk things in water? Anybody? To wash them. Love that answer. They love water polo. Make them easy to eat.
Okay, got some good guesses.
Easier to chew. These are good guesses.
Okay, so we used to think that it was to wash them. That seems to be the natural assumption. But we've since realized, or scientists now believe at least, that they're actually doing it to feel, as some of you said. Most of their info about the world around them comes to them through touch. Most of their brain cells are devoted to that sense of touch. And so dipping their food in water helps to soften the sensitive pads on their paws so that they can feel better and know if they should eat this thing that they're holding on to or not. So this is You Are a Raccoon, and it's the second book in the Meet Your World series. I talked about why I chose to do the second person point of view, which is to pull in the young readers and make the facts feel more immediate and engaging. Well, when the illustrator Jay Fleck saw that manuscript, he took the idea and ran with it. And I couldn't be happier with his interpretation. Not only did he make the most adorable artwork to go in the book, but he also introduced these super cute spot illustrations of children acting out the actions that the animals are taking. And we highlighted those words in the text as well as the bubbles that he drew. Give you an example here. Now it is your turn. You grab for a grasshopper, but you miss. You bite at a bird, but you miss. You pounce on a mouse, but you miss. Grab, bite, pounce. Then you spot a snail. You watch, you leap, you chomp. Watch, leap, chomp. I think this just adds to the interactivity and fun and encourages young readers to act out what the animal is doing and show them how much they have in common with those animals. Hopefully those similarities will inspire them to care about the animal and want to protect them. Both books also have a lot of additional back matter, which includes fun facts, more ways to pretend play, why they matter, and then as well as some practical action steps that kids can take to help those animals thrive and take care of the environment. That is You Are a Raccoon. Thanks very much.
Ooh. Thank you, Laurie Ann Thompson, everybody. So So now we are going to announce 2 winners. The first winner will be of You Are a Honeybee. And so we have got Wakako Rollinger. Apologies if I'm saying folks' names wrong, but that is our winner is Wakako Rollinger. I wonder, is that person here? Yay. Great. Excellent. So you are the winner of You Are a Honeybee. Maybe you will find that you are a honeybee now that you have this book. Our next winner of You Are a Raccoon is Jessica Silva. Did Jessica make it today as well? All right. Oh, and there will be 2 more books in the series next spring. You Are a Robin and You Are a Garter Snake. So something to look forward to. All right. Congratulations to our winners, and congrats to Laurie Ann. Thank you. So our next question is, we are going to be moving along to talking with Marsha Diane Arnold about One Small Thing. And so we have a little question for you all, and that is, can you tell the outside temperature by counting cricket chirps? Yes or no? Can you tell the outside temperature by counting cricket chirps? Folks are saying, yeah, totally. Yes, more chirps equals warmer. Yes, but I didn't know that. Can't, but I bet someone can. All right. Marsha, let us know.
Well, everyone's so smart here. Yes, you can tell the outside temperature by counting cricket chirps. As someone said, the warmer the weather, the more the crickets chirp. And you can find out all the details in the One Small Thing activity guide, which is on my website. In One Small Thing, Raccoon home is destroyed by a lightning strike. And Mouse says, it's such a big catastrophe and we're so small. So all the animals of Brightly would feel helpless. And children can feel helpless too when a natural disaster happens or when a calamity occurs to one of the people in their community. One Small Thing gives examples of what each of us can do with our energies and talents to spread kindness and help out. So eventually Mouse figures out that he can make an herb balm to put on Raccoon's burned feet. And even Grumpy Badger, who does go off to search for cricket in the darkest part of Brightly Wood, even Grumpy Badger helps. Now, the impetus to write One Small Thing was actually the 2019 Australian wildfires. And I wrote something in my notebook. I said, one feels so helpless, but there are small things to be done. Bless the American firefighters going there to help and the rescue dogs searching for koalas. So it is very important to spread kindness during really difficult times, but it's also important on a daily basis to do one small thing. Even if it's something like sitting next to someone who needs special attention or giving a hug. So teaching children to do one small thing regularly will help them to understand their feelings, other people's feelings, and to help them make empathetic choices. So my hope is that teachers and parents can use this book to have conversations with children during difficult times. And I wanted to show you this one, and that it will also add to the social emotional learning canon, and it will spread kindness all around. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. All right. And now for our next prize winner, our winner of One Small Thing is Gina Soldano Harry. Thank you. Thank you everybody for listening in, and we're going to keep rolling along. Congrats to our winners so far. I wonder, is Gina here? Can we give a little shout to Gina maybe? All right. Maybe yes, no? Well, Okay, so thank you, Marsha. And moving along, we have a couple books by Purdie Salas, the very talented Minnesota author, so a local person who we know at Red Balloon. And we are going to be chatting a little bit about Finding Family and Zap Clap Boom. So the first question that Laura has for Finding Family is, mallards are most, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Mallards are most closely related to geese and swans. What are the closest bird relatives for the common loon? So what are the closest bird relatives? There's a hint right there. Has a little something to do with the book. Grebes, ducks. Laura, why don't you let us know?
So the closest relative of loons are penguins and pelicans. So they are really, really different from mallards, very far apart on the evolutionary web of life. But also, I just have to say, I'm having second thoughts about my Burt's Bees now after Laurie's honeybee revelation. But yeah, this book is Finding Family, and it is The Duckling Raised by Loons. It is a nonfiction book. This happened in Wisconsin in 2019, and it's the true story of an interspecies family. And the interesting thing is these two species do not get along at all. And they actually have very different anatomies, even though they're both water birds. So this summer family really astonished scientists, and especially because the duckling was learning all these loon behaviors that it didn't seem like she should be able to do. So there's beautiful art by Alexandria Neonakis, and here's one page of it. She dives like mother and father. She surfaces with a tasty snail. Mallard bones are not loon heavy, pulling them into the deep. Mallards rarely dive, but duckling does. And duckling does all sorts of cool things. And so that's what the book's about. But what the book is about, kind of the deeper meaning for me, is about living with unanswered questions and not being able to know or control the future. Very difficult for me. And I wrote this book during the pandemic, so it was very timely that I was writing about that. So near the end of the book, this is my favorite spread. And it says, the future is a perfect mystery of possibilities, like an unhatched egg. Mother and father and duckling have only now. A family created one dabble and dive, one piggyback ride, one slippery minnow at a time. And in the end, that's enough. There's also back matter with lots more science. And that is Finding Family, The Duckling Raised by Loons.
Thank you, Laura. So sweet. I love that story. Okay, and now moving on to Laura's next book, Zap Clap Boom. The question that Laura has for you all is, in degrees Fahrenheit, how hot is lightning? $15.80, 10,000, 2,000, 1K. Very hot is the verdict.
Well, that is correct. It is very hot. Lightning, which is electricity, actually heats up the air around it as it travels through the air to 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So 5 times the heat of the surface of the sun, which I think is astonishing. This book is Zap Clap Boom, The Story of a Thunderstorm. And it grew out of my growing up in Florida and the summer daily thunderstorms there. And some of the things that you'll find in this book, with gorgeous art by Ellie McKay, you'll find a lot of science, you'll find rhyme, hopefully you'll find beautiful language. You'll find an opportunity for kids to chorus in on the zap, clap, boom part of the book. And in the back, you'll find a lot more science back matter. I do love back matter. And then you'll also find kids in here, which is, you know, my text, my words don't have anything about kids. The text is just all about the storm. But I knew there were going to be kids in the art because the editor wanted there to be kids. And so that was fine. I was expecting that. But when the sketches came in, there was also a surprise. And that was goats. Yep, goats. I was quite surprised. But it's perfect because the kids all run inside to safety when the storm comes. So we really needed these kind of characters to keep us company while we are with the storm outside. And here's just a page or two of the book. Clouds hang heavy, black and dark, smudgy watercolor mark. They hover over, tower, loom, then zap, clap, boom. And that was one thing that surprised me during the publishing process of this book. And I'm so glad that Ellie did surprise me because her artwork is just flawless. And that is it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Laura. All right, Laura Purdie Salas, everybody. And we have a couple more winners to announce. So first, a winner of Finding Family, and that will be, drum roll please, drum roll, Claudine Pullen. Is Claudine with us? Woo! All right. And then we also have an announcement for Zap Clap Boom, Laura's other book, and that will be, drum roll please, drum roll. Thank you, everybody. Nancy Day. Woo-hoo-hoo. Congrats to our winners. All right. Good to see you, Erin. Thank you for coming. All right. So now we are going to move along to our next author illustrator duo, Christine Layton and Luciana Navarro Powell. Woo. So we will start with Christine, and we have a question for folks, and that is, what do scientists use to figure out the universe's birthday? The universe. How can we figure out how old the universe is? Light? Might be onto something there. All right, passing it over to Christine to give us the answer.
I really like Laurie's answer, Google, which is where I get all my answers. You're absolutely right. Scientists use light to figure out the universe's birthday. Happy birthday, universe. And I love Zap, Clap, Boom. Laura, I love your book, especially the lightning, because Light Speaks also has lightning in it. So hey, everyone, I'm Christine, the author of Light Speaks. And this book follows some kids on an overnight adventure where they see fireflies, they use their flashlights, they see a lighthouse out at sea, they see moonlight and more. And this book is all about how light communicates messages, not just people using technology, but also animals use light and insects. And we even get messages from space, which sounds kind of weird. Let's see, when people are using light to communicate, in the book, they have flashlight signaling. We see traffic lights. Like, you know how the red means stop and green means go? We get that information without a sound. And out in nature, animals are doing the same thing. Like fireflies are saying, hey, Flash, I'm a firefly. Flash, are you a firefly? Flash, yes, we should hang out. I'm also a firefly. But sometimes the two, they clash. So here's one of my favorite parts of the book, the baby sea turtles. When baby sea turtles hatch, they use the moonlight to find their way to the ocean. So they start heading toward the light. But here's a problem. These sea turtles are heading toward a lamp, and that's human light. This is called light pollution. So they're actually heading toward a secret hidden image danger. Did you see the secret cat in the book? This book is full of awesome illustrations with secrets and cool stories behind how they were created. And to tell you more, the artist herself, Luciana Navarro Powell.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm going to talk today about how I made one of my favorite pages of Light Speaks, the Big Bang spread. So the Big Bang is how scientists explain the beginning of everything. And they use light, as we heard, to figure that out, to estimate how old the universe is. And it's old, 13 billion years old. So this illustration is very ambitious. It's like a time travel of sorts. I started here at the beginning of everything, and everything's being formed, and matter and atoms and planets and comets, all the way to present day, and we're here orbiting a star in one galaxy. So ambitious illustration. I knew I wanted to use something different, something special to make this art. So I decided to use real starlight to make this art, like real star, light from a real star, the sun. I grabbed a grocery bag and I perforated one side of it here, and I painted the inside dark blue. And I went outside on a sunny day, which is sometimes not very easy here in Washington State, but there was a sunny day. Pretend this is the sun. As the sun hit my bag, it's shown, it's kind of hard to see in my simulation, but it lit up the other side of the bag, and I photographed that. You can see it better here in this photo. This is me photographing inside of the bag, and this is what it looked like. I created a little Milky Way inside the grocery bag. So I photographed that, sent a photo to my computer. There's other really cool effects here that I also use in starlight, all these explosions and all the matter and atoms and stars being formed. For that, I used some pieces of glass and crystal from, just from my house. And I, again, exposed them to the sun, and the sun hit the glass and the crystal and formed these really cool shapes. Can you see there? And that's what I use. I send these images to my computer. And then I use regular, analog methods like acrylics and watercolors. You can see here some galaxies. I send everything to Photoshop, which is what I work. And that's how the Big Bang page came to be. Another fun fact for you guys, or fun, cool thing about books. A lot of these picture books that you saw today, they have this part here, this paper removable part, which is called a dust jacket. I think it protects books against dust, I guess. If you remove the dust jacket from Light Speaks, you're gonna see the Milky Way. So you see all the stars that I created using that technique I showed you. And then you're gonna see from the very far, from the stars very far to lightning bugs really close. So from really close to really far, Light speaks to you. Thanks for being here, and keep reading and keep being curious.
Woo! Amazing. Thank you, Christina and Luciana. That was wonderful. That's so cool to know that that's how you did the artwork. I never would have guessed something like that. Very neat. Okay. Oh, and there's another, I think worth noting, a fun fact that Luciana shared with us about her name that's also relevant to the book, which is that her first name is derivative of the Latin word for light, which is lux. So very on theme there. Well done. Okay. And so announcing another lucky winner for a copy of Light Speaks, we have Shilpanjali Sarma. Woo! So congrats. Okay, and so now we're gonna roll right into our next book. Last but certainly not least, we have Marie Boyd to talk with us a little bit about Just a Worm. And I think this is a story about not just a worm, I love this book. And Marie is the author and illustrator of this book, so she'll have a lot of fun things to share. So a good question is, what does a worm do to help the garden grow? Love to hear people's thoughts in the chat. And we'll pass it over to Marie.
Thanks, Claire. That is one of the facts that you will find out in Just a Worm. So I really like to take walks with my family. And when my son was younger and we'd go on walks, he didn't like seeing the worms on the sidewalk after the rain. And to try to convince him to walk around them, I told him, It's just a worm. And I started thinking about that question and how a worm might feel if it could understand my words. And that question led to this book, Just a Worm. So in the book, Worm overhears two children say that Worm is just a worm, and then Worm sets out through the garden to try to prove the children wrong. Along the way, Worm encounters a number of other garden creatures, each of which has special characteristics. But what can Worm do? What makes Worm special? So I think that we all probably have compared ourselves to others at some point and felt that we have fallen short. And what I really hope that readers take from Just a Worm is, first, I hope that they think about what they contribute and can contribute to their family, school, or community, because we all have something that makes us special. And that's the second thing that I hope that people will take from this book. So I illustrated Just a Worm using a cut paper technique called quilling. So I took narrow strips of paper like these and a quilling tool, and I cut, coiled, and curled the paper to make illustrations. So here you can see a butterfly, and it has a little bit of dimension, and I will show you the butterfly spread in the book. So here is the butterfly, and you can see some of the shadows because the quilled paper comes off of the page. If you would like to try your hand at quilling, the back matter includes a quilling craft to make a butterfly. And I also share videos and more quilling ideas on my website at marieboyd.com. So people can also check out quilling there. Thank you all.
Amazing. So cool. I don't think I'd ever heard of that technique until I saw your book. So thanks for sharing. All right. So thank you. A round of applause virtually, or a little handshake, or whatever you prefer, to all of our authors and illustrators. Woo, yes, snaps. We love that.